Okay, and I'll make a little tiny thing here. All right, for those of you out on YouTube, we're continuing our reading of Ulysses, the Proteus section. We're a couple pages in. We will proceed as we have been proceeding, which is everyone will get a chance to read. And then when we've come to the end of our reading, we will go back and spend some time discussing it. It is 1:30 now. I think that we probably will read for about a half an hour. We'll try to fit in that, and we'll spend the final half an hour going over what we have read. With that being said, I will invite Donna to begin.
Thank you. What about what? What else were they invented for? Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Reading 2 pages apiece of 7 books every night, eh? I was young. You bowed to yourself in the mirror, stepping forward to applause, earnestly, striking face. Hooray for the goddamned idiot. Hooray, no one saw. Tell no one. Books you were going to write with letters for titles. Have you read his F? Oh, yes, but I prefer Q. Yes, but W is wonderful. Oh, yes, W. Remember your epiphanies written on green oval leaves, deeply deep, copies to be sent if you died to all the great libraries of the world, including Alexandria? Someone was to read them there after a few thousand years. Mahamavantara, Pico della Mirandola like. Aye, pretty like a whale. When one reads these strange pages of one long gone, one feels that one is at one with one who once. The grainy sand had gone from under his feet. His boots trod again a damp, crackling mast. Razor shells, speaking pebbles, that on the unnumbered pebbles beats. Wood sieved by the shipworm, lost armada, unnumbered pebbles beat, sorry, I'm repeating myself, unwholesome sandflats waiting to suck his threading soles, breathing upwards sewage breath, a pocket of seaweed smouldered in sea fire under a midden of man's ashes. He coasted them, walking warily. A porter bottle stood up, stogged to its waist in the cakey sand dough. A sentinel, isle of dreadful thirst. Broken hooks on the shore, at the land a maze of dark cunning nets. Further away, chalk scrawled back doors, and on the higher beach, a drying line with 2 crucified shirts. Rings End, wigwams of brown steersmen and master mariners. Human shells, he
Hey.
halted. He halted. I have passed the way to Ansera's. Am I not going there? Seems not. No one about. He turned northeast and crossed the firmer sand towards the pigeon house. Qui vous a mis dans cette fichue position? C'est la pigeon, Joseph. Patrice, home on furlough, lapped warm milk with me in the bar McMahon, son of the wild goose, Kevin Egan of Paris. My father's a bird. He lapped the sweet lay show with pink young tongue, plump bunny's face, lap, lapin. He hopes to win in the Gros Lot. About the nature of women he read in Michelet. But he must send me La Vie de Jesus by Monsieur Leo Taxil, lent it to his friend. Next, please.
C'est donc, vous savez, moi, je suis socialiste. Je ne crois pas en l'existence de Dieu. Faut pas le dire à mon père. Il croit? Mon père? Oui. Plus, he laps. My Latin Quarter hat. God, we simply must dress the character. I want puce gloves. You were a student. You were a student, weren't you? Of what in the other devil's name? Nathan, PCM. Will you know? Physique, chimique, et naturel. Aha! Eating your growth's worth of Muon flesh pots of Egypt, elbowed by belching cabmen, just saying the most natural tone. When I was in Paris, boom, shit, I yes, used to carry punched tickets to prove an alibi if they arrested you for justice. On the night of the 17th of February, 1904, the prisoner was seen by two witnesses. Other fellow did it, other me. Hat, tie, overcoat, nose. Louis, c'est moi. You enjoyed yourself. Proudly walking. Who are you trying to walk like? Forget. A dispossessed, with mother's money order, 8 shillings, and banging door of the post office, slammed in your face by the usher. Hunger, toothache. Encore, 2 minutes. Look, clock, must get, ferme. Hired dog. Shooting the bloody bits with a bang shotgun. Bits, man, splattered walls, all brass buttons. Bits are crack in place, clack, back. Not hurt? Oh, that's all right. Shake hands. See what I meant? See? Oh, that's all right. Shake a shake. Oh, that's only all right. Next, please.
You're going to do wonders, what? Missionary to Europe after fiery Columbanus. Fiacre and Scotus on their creepy stools in heaven, split from their pint pots. Lang Latin laughing. Heug, heug! Pretending to speak broken English as you dragged your valise, porter 3 pence, across the slimy pier at New Haven. Comment? Rich booty you brought back, le tutu. 5 tattered numbers of pantalon blanc and culotte rouge, a blue French telegram, curiosity to show. Mother dying, come home, father. Aunt thinks you killed your mother. That's why she won't. Then there's a health to Mulligan's aunt, and I'll tell you the reason why. She always kept things decent in the Hannigan family eye. His feet marched in sudden proud rhythm over the sand furrows, along the boulders of the south wall. He stared at them proudly. Piled stone mammoth skulls, gold light on sea, on sand, on boulders. The sun is there, the slender trees, the lemon houses. Next, Orla.
Paris, rawly waking, crude sunlight on her lemon streets, moist pith of farls of bread, the frog-green wormwood, her matin incense, courtier. Bellumo rises from the bed of his wife's lover's wife. The kerchiefed housewife is astir, a saucer of acetic acid in her hands. Nudos, Yvonne, and Madeline new make their tumbled beauties, shattering with gold teeth chaussons of pastry, their mouths yellowed with the pus of flan breton, or the pus of flan breton. Faces of Paris men go by, their well-pleased pleasers, curled conquistadors. Noon slumbers. Kevin Egan rolls gunpowder cigarettes through fingers smeared with printer's ink, sipping his green fairy as Patrice his white. About us, gobblers fork spiced beans down their gullets. Un demi-setier, a jet of coffee steam from the burnished cauldron. She serves me at his beck. Il est irlandais. Hollandaise? Non, fromage. Deux irlandaises. Nous, Irlande? Vous savez? Ah, where? She thought you wanted a cheese hollandaise. Your postprandial. Do you know that word? Postprandial. There was a fellow I knew once in Barcelona, queer fellow, used to call it his postprandial. Well, sláinte. Around the slab tables, the tangle of wined brats and grumbling gorges, his breath hangs over our sauce-stained plates. The green fairy's fang thrusting between his lips. Of Ireland, the Dalcassians, of hopes, conspiracies, of Arthur Griffith's now. To yoke me as his yoke fellow, our crimes, our common cause. Jim.
Thank you, Orla. You're your you're your father's son, I know the voice. His fustian short sanguine flower trembles its Spanish tassels at his secrets. Mr. Drummond, famous journalist, Drummond, know what he called Queen Victoria? Old hag with the yellow teeth, Ville ogress with the donjon, Maud gone beautiful woman, La Patrie, Millavoy, Felix Favre, know how he died? Licentious man, the frockin' bonne too fair, who rubs male nakedness in the bath at Uppsala. Mon frère, she said, tout le monsieur. Not this monsieur, I said, most licentious custom. Bath, a most private thing. I wouldn't let my brother, not even my own brother, most lascivious thing. Green eyes, I see you, Fang, I feel lascivious people. The blue fuse burns deadly between hands and burns clear. Loose tobacco shreds catch fire. A flame and acid smoke light our corner. Raw face bones under his peep-a-day boy's hat. How the head centre got away, authentic version. Got up as a young bride, man, veil, orange blossom, dove out the road to Malahide. Did fate of lost leaders, the betrayed, wild escapades, disguises clutched at, gone, not here, spurned lover. I was a strapping young garçon at the time. I tell you, I'll show you my likeness one day. I was fate. Lover for her love, he prowled with colonial Richard Burke, tennis of his sept under the walls of Clerkenwell, and crutching saw a flame of vengeance hurl them upward in the fog. Shattered glass and toppling masonry. In gay Paris he hides, a Ghana Paris unsought by any save by me. Making his day stations, the dingy Printigas, his three taverns, the Montmartre lair he sleeps sharp night in, Rue de la Goutte l'Our, them incensed with fly-blown faces of the gone. Loveless, landless, wifeless, she is quite nicely comfy without her outcast man. Madame in Rue Get la Cour, Canray and two buck lodgers, peachy-cheeked, a zebra shirt, frisky as a young man's things, spurned and despairing. Tell Pat you saw me, won't you? I wanted to get poor Pat a job one time. Monfils, soldier of France. I taught him to sing. The boys of Kilkenny are stout roaring blades. Know that, Ole? I taught Patrice that. Old Kilkenny, St. Canis, Strongbow's Castle on the Nore, goes like this. Oh, 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 he takes Nappertandy by the hand. Oh, 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 the boys of Kilkenny. Weak waist and hand on mine. They have forgotten Kevin Egan. Not ye them, remembering thee, O Sion. Next, please.
Next. He had come near the edge of the sea in wet sand, slapped his boots. The new air greeted him, harping in wild nerves, wind of wild air, of seeds of brightness. Here, I am not walking out to the Gish lightship, am I? He stood suddenly, his feet beginning to sink slowly in the quaking soil. Turn back. Turning, he scanned the shore south, his feet sinking again slowly in new sockets. The cold, doomed room of the tower waits. Through the barbican the shaft of light are moving ever, slowly ever as my feet are sinking, creeping dustward over the dial floor. Blue dusk, nightfall, deep blue night. In the darkness of the dome they wait. Their push-back chairs, my obelisk valise, around the board of abandoned platters. Who to clear it? He has the key. I will not sleep there when this night comes. A shut door of a silent tower, entombing their blind bodies. The panthers at Sheb and his pointer call no answer. He lifted his feet up from the suck and turned back by the mole of boulders. Take all, keep all. My soul walks with me, form of forms. So in the moon mid-watches, I paced the path above the rocks in the sabre silvered, hearing Elsinore's tempting flood. The flood is following me. I can watch it flow past from here. Get back then by the Poolbeg road to the strand there. He climbed over the sedge and eely oarweeds and sat on a stool of rock, resting his ash plant in a creek. Lois.
A bloated carcass of a dog lay lolled on bladder wreck. Before him the gunwale of a boat sunk in sand. Une gauche en sable, Louis Vouillot called Gautier's prose. These heavy sands are language. Tide and wind have silted here. And these, the stone heaps of dead builders, a warren of weasel rats. Hide gold there, try it. You have some, sands and stones. Heavy of the past, Salu's toys. Mind you don't get one bang on the ear. On the bloody well gigant rolls, all them bloody well boulders. Bones for my stepping stones. Fee for from my smells ye bloods of Irishmen. A point, live dog, grew into sight, running across the sweep of sand. Lord, is he going to attack me? Respect his liberty. You will not be master of others or their slave. I have my stick. Sit tight. From farther away, walking shoreward across from the crested tide, figures two. The two Marys. They have tucked it safe among the bulrushes. Peekaboo, I see you. No, the dog. He is running back to them. Who? Galleys of the Lochlands ran here to bleach in quest of prey, their blood-beaked prows riding low on a molten pewter surf. Dane Vikings, hawks of tomahawks a glitter on their breasts, when Malachi wore the collar of gold. A school of turtle-hide whales, stranded in hot noon, spouting, hobbling in the shallows. Then from the starving cage-work city, a horde of jerkin dwarfs, my people, with flayers' knives, running, scaling, hacking in green, blubbery whale meat. Famine, plague, and slaughters. Their blood is in me, their lusts my waves. I moved among them on the frozen Liffey that I, a changeling, among the spluttering resin fires. I spoke to no one, none to me. The dog's bark ran towards him, stopped, ran back. Dog of my enemy. I just simply stood pale, silent, bayed about, terribilia meditans. A primrose doublet, fortune's knave, smiled on my fear. For that are you pining? The bark of their applause? Pretenders, live their lives. The Bruce's brother, Thomas Fitzgerald, Silken Knight, Perkin Warbeck, York's false scion, in breeches of silk of white rose ivory, wonder of a day, and Lambert Simnel with a tale of nuns and sutlers, a scullion crowned. All king's sons. Paradise of pretenders then and now. He saved men from drowning, and you shake at a cur's yelping. But the courtiers who mocked Guido in Or, San Michel, were in their own house of... We don't want any of your medieval abstrusiosities. Would you do what he did? A boat would be near, a lifebuoy, naturally, put there for you. Would you, or would you not? The man that was drowned 9 days ago off Maiden's Rock. They're waiting for him now. The truth, spit it out. I would want to. I would try. I'm not a strong swimmer. Water, cold, soft. Would I put my face into it in the basin in Clongowes? Can't see who's behind me. Out, quickly, quickly. Do you see the tide flowing quickly in on all sides, sheeting the lows of sand quickly, shell cocoa-colored. If I had land under my feet, I want this life still to be his, mine to be mine. The drowning man, his human eyes screamed to me out of horror of his death. I, with him, together down. I could not save her. Waters, bitter death, lost. Next.
A woman and a man, I see her skirties, pinned up, I bet. The dog ambles about a bank of dwindling sand, trotting, sniffing on all sides, looking for something lost in a past life. Suddenly he made off like a bounding hare, ears flung back, chasing the shadow of a low skimming gull. The man's shrieked whistle struck his limp ears. He turned, bounded back, came nearer, trotted on crinkling shanks, on a field, tenny buck, trippant, proper, unattired. At the lace fringe of the tide, he halted with stiff fore hoofs, seaward pointed ears, his snout lifted, barked at the wave noise, herds of sea morse. They serpentined toward his feet, curling, unfurling many crests. Every night breaking, splashing from farther out, waves and waves. Cockle pickers. They waded a little in the waves and stopping, soused their bags, and lifting them again, waded out. The dog yelped, running at them, sheared up and pawed again, dropping on all fours, again reared up at them with mute bearish fawning. Unheeded, he kept by them as he came toward the drier sand, a rag of wolf's tongue, red panting from the jaws. His speckled body ambled ahead of them, then lopped off at a calf gallop. The carcass lay on his path. He stopped, sniffed, stalked around it, brother nosing close, went around it, sniffing rapidly like a dog all over the dead dog's bedraggled fell. Dog skull, dog sniff, eyes on the ground, moves to one great goal. Ah, poor dog's body, here lies poor dog's body. Tatters, out of that, you mongrel. The cry brought him skulking back to his master, and a blunt, bootless kick sent him unscathed across a spit of sand, crouching in flight. He slunk back in a curve. Doesn't see me. Along by the edge of the mole, he lolloped, dawdled, smelt a rock, and from under a cockled hind leg pissed against it. He trotted forward and lifting his hind leg, pissed quick, short at an unsmelt rock. The simple pleasures of the poor. His hind paws then scattered sand, and his forepaws dabbled and delved. Something he buried there. His grandmother, he rooted in the sand, dabbled, delving, and stopping to listen to the air, scraped up at the sand again and again with a fury of his claws, soon ceasing a panther got in spouse breach, vulturing the dead, pass.
After he woke me last night, same dream. Or was it? Wait. Open hallway, street of harlots. Remember Harun al-Rashid. I'm almosting it. That man led me, spoke. I was not afraid. The melon he held against my face, smiled. Cream fruit smell. That was the rule. Said, in. Come, red carpet spread. You will see who. Shouldering their bags, they trudge, the red Egyptians. His blued feet of turned-up trousers slapped the clammy sand. A dull brick muffler strangling his unshaven neck. With woman's steps he followed, the ruffian and his following mort. Spoils slung at her back. Loose sand and shell grit crusted her bare feet. About her, wind-raw face hair trailed. Behind her lord, his helpmate, being a waste to Romeville. When night hides her body's flaws, calling under her brown shawl from an archway where dogs mired, her fancy man is treating two royal Dublins in the Loughlands of Black Pits. Bus her, wap in robes rum lingo for, oh, my dimber wrapping dell, a shell feels whiteness under her rancid rags. Fun boys lay in that night, the tan yard smells. White thy fambles, red the gan, and thy quarren's dainty is. Couch a bog's head with me then, in the dark man's clip and kiss. Dave, take it away.
Morose delectation, Aquinas Tunbelly calls this. Frate porcospino, unfallen Adam road, and not rutted. Call away, let him, thy quarren's dainty is. Language no whit worse than his. Monk words, merry beads, jabber on their girdles. Rogue words, tough nuggets patter in their pockets. Passing now. A side eye at my Hamlet hat. If I were suddenly naked here as I sit, I am not. Across the sands of all the world, followed by the sun's flaming sword, to the west, trekking to evening lands. She trudges, schleps, trains, drags, traskeens her load, a wide westering moon dawn in her wake. Tides myriad islanded within her, blood not mine. Oinopoa ponton, a wine dark sea, behold the handmaid of the moon. In sleep the wet sign calls her hour, bids her rise. Bride bed, child bed, bed of death, goes candled. Omnis carol ad te veniet. He comes, pale vampire, through storm, his eyes, his bad sails, bloodying the sea, mouth to her mouth's kisses. Here, put a pin in that chap, will you? My tablets, mouth to her kiss. No, must be two of them. Glue 'em well, mouth to her mouth's kiss. His lips, lipped and mouthed, fleshless lips of air, mouth to her moom, all wombing tomb. His mouth molded, issuing breath, unspeeched, ooh-ee-ha, roar of cataractic planets, globed, blazing, roaring. Way, away, 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 paper, the banknotes blast them. Old Deasy's letter, here, thanking you for the hospitality, tear the blank end off. Turning his back to the sun, he bent over far to a table of rock and scribbled words. That's twice I forgot to take slips from the library counter. Katrina?
His shadow lay over the rocks as he bent, ending. Why not endless till the farthest star? Darkly they are there behind this light, darkness shining in the brightness, delta of Cassiopeia, worlds. Me sits there with his augur's rod of ash in borrowed sandals by day beside a livid sea, unbeheld in violet night, walking beneath the rain of uncouth stars. I throw this ended shadow from me, man-shape ineluctable, call it back. Endless would it be, mine form of my form? Who watches me here? Whoever, anywhere, will read these written words. Signs on a white field, somewhere to someone in your flutiest voice. The good Bishop of Cloyne took this veil of the temple out of his shovel hat, veil of space with colored emblems hatched on its field. Hold hard. colored on a flat. Yes, that's right. Flat I see. Then think distance, near, far, flat I see, east, back. Ah, see now. Falls back suddenly, frozen in stereoscope. Click does the trick. You find my words dark. Darkness is in our souls, do you not think? Flutier, our souls, shame wounded by our sins, cling to us more. A woman to her lover clinging, the more, the more. And I'm going to stop here, or we could go on for a couple more paragraphs, but I think this is a good place to stop.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Okay. Just in case you don't know, we are close to the end of this particular episode.
Oh, we are. We're very
We are,
close.
but I do not
Oh.
recommend pursuing on to the end of it myself. So let's see if anybody has any points or comments to make about. I'll make a comment. I think Stephen Dedalus is the original internet fellow, full of an unending stream of seemingly random experiences and facts, most of which have nothing to do with it.
Hmm.
They're just little abstract pieces of information that he's collected along the way.
It's all the protean nature of the episode. This is called Proteus. Proteus continuously changes his shape.
Right.
And I'm quoting from Joyce. When Frank Budgeon asked him about the use of the word almosting, he said there is no such word as almosting.
Almost what?
Almost.
Almost.
I'm almosting it.
Yeah.
And Joyce is in quotes. That's all in the protean character of the thing. Everything changes. Land, water, dog, time, parts of speech change too. The adverb almost becomes a verb. So you are experiencing the theme of the episode in the text in that it's constantly changing on you. The way Proteus changes on Menelaus. Once he's a lion and then it becomes a leaf, it becomes something else, then he's a snake. And that's giving you the experience of having the pleasure of wrestling with Proteus. That's Joyce's message in his own words.
Yeah.
And
Huh.
so rather than looking for kind of highfalutin academic explanations of every single syllable, that's the message to have. And then you can enjoy all these
Yeah.
rabbit holes rather than trying to map the rabbit holes.
There's car. No. Sorry. What happened? What?
Hold on. We have other worlds entering.
Colliding, other worlds colliding.
Exactly.
Everything keeps changing.
Yeah.
Yes,
They don't understand us.
Hmm.
What were you saying, Anne?
I was joking. I'm saying they don't understand us. Thursday nights are sacred.
They're Joyce's last words too, aren't they? Almost.
Mm.
His last words, does nobody understand me?
Did nobody understand me?
Hmm.
And that's a true report and not an apocryphal report.
Yeah, that's from Nora.
A bit like Spike Milligan, I didn't realize I was sick on his tombstone.
Do we have any way of knowing at which point this episode was written? Was it written after some of the rest of the book was written, or was it written early on?
It's early
Just
on.
wondering, because it's so kind of reflective and.
Yeah, it's early on. It's 1918.
Oh,
that it
okay.
First published in the Little Review.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm,
So he
mm-hmm.
wrote it early then.
Yeah.
Well, he wrote the basic thing early, but the question is, how much did he go back and revise and change
Uh-huh.
over
Uh-huh.
time? I don't know
Well,
myself.
you could, yeah, that's one of the uses of a recent edition of Ulysses, which I keep referring to. Go back in a minute, wherever I've gone. Here we are. If you were minded to study it, there's an edition of Ulysses with only 12 episodes.
Oh yeah.
And so
I have a copy
Yeah,
buried
Joe.
somewhere.
yeah,
Joe, can you pull it up again? And
Little review,
Oh,
Ulysses.
really?
Yeah,
thank you. Thank
that's
you.
the two ladies
Yeah.
review. Jane Heap and Margaret Anderson
Margaret Anderson, yeah.
eventually got put in jail for their efforts.
Will I read you from the start, just to show you, ineluctable modality of the visible. Now that's familiar. At least that, if no more, thought through my eyes, signatures of all things I am here to read. It's exactly the same. Sea spawn and sea wrack, the nearing tide, that rusty boot, snot green, blue silver, rust, coloured, la 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 la, and within 12 lines, a very short space of time through very short times of space, 5, 6, the nacheinander, exactly. And that is the ineluctable modality of the audible. So, like, you'd have to search meticulously to find differences.
Oh, meaning that it was close enough in the beginning to the end that.
Yeah.
What I'm interested in is actually this starts off extremely well from my point of view, where he says signature of all things, I am here to read. So he sets himself an assignment. I'm here to read it.
Yeah.
And then he goes through, he introduces the terms, the Nacheinander and the Demoninder.
Yeah.
But he very soon removes himself from his reality. By reality here, I'm just talking about the physical things, the physical sensations that the senses have, and goes very deep inside of his head. And all kinds of random facts and figures and experiences come floating by. So,
Because he's on his own? Because he's
yeah, he's
alone?
not tied down. He's not tied down.
He doesn't have to be anybody.
Well, but
He
there's an irony here, and the
Mhm.
irony is this is also an explanation of why Steve. Now, I'm obviously being absurd here. It's an explanation of why Stephen Dedalus hasn't really written anything. He poses as an author, but he hasn't written anything because he's so caught up in the flux. And he hasn't gotten down to a bedrock place to start. Then I will ask Joe, at this particular point in the life of the character Stephen Dedalus, has he actually written anything that is recognized as literature?
Well, given that, do you mean James Joyce?
No, I mean actually the character Stephen Dedalus.
Does Stephen Dedalus ever write anything in this book?
Yeah, and if I were to answer the question you just asked, I would say no.
No, no.
He's very creative in speech, and
Yeah.
can be quite imaginative, but he's not, because he's not tied down, that he's caught on the, to use your term, flotsam and jetsam of all of his education and his emotions.
He's got exactly the same as James Joyce had in June 1904. He's got one collection of poems, and that's referred to. But like Joyce had written practically nothing before he left Dublin.
Uh-huh.
He started Dubliners, and the first three episodes of Dubliners, in early draft form, were submitted to AE's. What's the AE's magazine called? Dana, was it Dana?
Dana.
And he was warned after the first, he was warned that they'd had more complaints than about his short story, The Sisters, than they'd had about any other piece they had published in the magazine. And he was told to change it. And by the time he submitted the third, he was told not to come back with any more. And at that point, he sort of went away.
Uh-huh.
And that's so like if this, yeah, I'm not quite sure what the point would be. Like we're just inside his head. This is the man who will write Finnegan's Wake. It's the same head. So I think it's a true picture of Joyce's own head.
That I will agree with you with, but I think he changed his head, as it were.
I think it got worse.
Well, but I mean, if just looking at the Dubliners, it's very interesting. The Dubliners, as I remember it, the Dubliners is not abstract. The language is not abstract.
No.
That it's every sentence is connected to, as much as one can, to something real.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas this is really, like me going on and spending weeks and weeks and months on the internet and having lots of random stuff rumbling around my head. And then if I get a quiet moment where I'm not doing that and I'm just in a quiet space and all this stuff just starts churning up.
Yeah. But
Okay.
that is the way the stream. We don't, our stream of consciousness is not systematic.
No, it's not organized. It's
No,
just whatever comes into your head.
yeah,
You can jump from one topic to another topic, from
you can.
how you see it now, how you saw it. It doesn't actually make sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because we all have different life experiences, so we've all different associations with words, and it's at a later point we turn that into language.
Oh, okay. I have a little different viewpoint, but that's okay.
Yeah.
To
It
me,
doesn't have
a
to, it
later.
doesn't have to, sorry, it doesn't have to make sense because it's in your head. It only has to make sense when you have to explain it to somebody else so that they understand it.
Yeah.
So if you're having a stream of consciousness, the way I look at it is how I'm thinking as I'm walking. Doesn't have to make sense. It's
Yeah.
just what's going in and out.
Yeah. Like if you're opening a tin of beans, with a can opener and it slips. Well, in my case, I always see my mother cutting her finger one day when I was a child doing that, And then the next thing I'm back to trying to remember the square root of -1, and then I'm trying to find a Latin word. Like we're all like that. And then the cat, where's the cat? And then I remember another cat once. And like it would not make sense to anyone. And what Joyce is doing is he faithfully puts it down on paper, and he creates,
He catches it so well. He has us talking like this about it.
yeah, like he's talking about Adam and Eve one minute, and then they had no navels, because, and then he's onto the guy who died in a Greek water closet and all this sort of stuff, and that's the nature of the stream of consciousness, as Joyce envisaged it. So it's not like I must say I don't want to wander into our other readings, but Virginia Woolf's version of the stream of consciousness was a very civilized and organized place when we read it on Monday. I don't know if I should be even talking like that, but
it is though. It's right.
It's a very pleasant, comfortable place. It's lovely compared with this.
But I guess, as you said earlier, she hasn't got the knowledge to deploy that Stephen does. She hasn't got the learning. So it may be because of that it is more of a kind of logical progression. She just isn't having much to throw in.
Yeah.
Attractive as she is.
And she's also had different life experiences.
Yeah. Yes, very true. Yes.
Well, Bloom doesn't have the education to do all this Aristotle stuff, but he's
right. Correct.
But so he's a bit more accessible to us because he's thinking of the color of the doorknob, and then he's sort of, kind of thinking of some Jewish prayer, and then he's back to sort of the time in the lottery tickets or something, and then he thinks of Molly's blouse color or something, and we can, they're all things that we can kind of identify with.
The telegram. This is quite random, but it's just a small question I have. The telegram reads, in my version, "Other dying, come home, father."
Yeah, Gobla has that with an N instead of an M.
Right. What about the rest of you?
I throw something in on that, Dave, please. I think that was the plot for an episode in MASH, which I fondly remember. You remember the character Klinger?
Yes.
I do so.
He was always trying to get out of the army, and
That's right.
Colonel calls him in one evening, and he has a whole series of letters which are applications to get away. And he starts off, mother sick, father dying.
Right.
Father sick, mother dying.
Interesting.
Great aunt sick, son dying, and so on and so on. So that's the first thing that came into my head.
It read their joys. So do people with the Wordsworth edition, for instance, have the M or the N?
The M as in mother? I have a capital M.
I guess my question is, did Simon Dedalus misspell mother in the telegram? Or did Gabler screw up?
I think Gabler screwed up.
Okay. So the rest of you in different editions have an M, mother dying.
Mother dying, come home.
Interesting.
Father.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Well,
I have a copy of the 1922 text here, if I can find the page.
That would be lovely, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. Give me a hint.
Yes. Yes. This is really easy. If you see in italicized the verses Then here's a health to Mulligan's aunt, and I'll tell you the reason why. She always kept things decent in the Hannigan family. So that's
Yeah.
indented and italicized. Go 2 lines up.
Mm-hmm.
Mother dying, come home, father.
So it's with an M, Orla?
M
Okay.
in the
Thank you.
page 42 in the 1922 edition.
42.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I will agree that James Joyce does a genius thing in the stream of consciousness, but I will also contend that it was only when James Joyce, the writer himself, could rise above the stream of consciousness that he could be a writer
Mhm.
of note.
So let me just ask where was that mistake made? Is that Gabler?
Yes, it's Gabler.
Yeah.
Huh,
Page 35 in Gabler.
yeah. I found the place, but I just was trying to figure out when it happened. Okay.
If I may, sorry, Duncan, I'm cutting across you.
That's fine.
The actual telegram read that Joyce got from his father read, "Mother dying, come home, father."
Right, okay.
Mhm.
So
So come on.
Gabler, this only shows up in the Gabler
Yeah.
edition. Huh.
Interesting that he uses the actual words, doesn't he? And have I got that right? I can't find it in words for it.
Oh, it's on page 39.
39. I'm on page 39. The lover's wife. Mother dying, come home, father. It's the exact words. Wow. Except they're in capital letters throughout.
Mhm. And no full stop or comma after home.
No,
No,
no.
Yeah.
That
that
just
would have cost more money in a telegram.
5
Yeah.
words.
Stop.
Mm.
Mother dying, come home, father. Boom.
I'm interested in the lemon streets and the smell of Paris being lemony and the fact that he buys lemon soap later on. Is it to evoke some memory of Paris, or does Paris smell of lemons?
Oh no.
Read on
I
sands.
mean, it says, it's interesting that they say
Lemon
they're all
houses.
drinking absinthe,
Lemon
wormwood.
Hmm.
The Green Fairy. I didn't know it was called the Green Fairy.
Yeah. You can buy it in Dublin still.
Mhm.
They have it in the window of the whiskey shop, or they had 2 years ago when I last looked in the window.
Hmm.
Whiskey shop.
Boy.
And Joyce had no way of getting home. He had no money.
Oh, from Paris, you mean?
Yeah. So he asked one of his students, he was teaching language, to obligingly, a man called Deuce, obligingly provided 375 francs. And he had to use broken English to avoid tipping a porter for carrying his bag.
Oh.
Money. Oh. Geez, remember Kevin Egan as well.
Mm.
That guy, like that's a real person who was a nationalist who was in prison in Clerkenwell jail, and there was an attempt to spring him by explosives, which resulted in civilian deaths
Mm.
in England, and he was put on trial for it, but he was in it. He wasn't found guilty. He served his term, but afterwards he went to Paris to live, and he's completely forgotten in Ireland. And he had a son called Patrice, So Patrice Egan is there as well. He and Joyce was friendly with him. But Egan died in Paris. And that's where he's saying, like, Ireland has forgotten him, but he has not forgotten Ireland.
Mhm.
I find that quite a sad passage, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very sad. Yeah, but yeah, uh, he was one of the Fenians. He's actually reviewing his whole life, isn't he, Stephen? He's talking about school days and Paris days. And
Mhm. 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 Yes. I still find it fascinating, the whole thing, though, that in the beginning of the Proteus section that he is making a commitment to learn the signatures of things,
yeah,
but almost immediately he wanders off into abstractions and past and future and imaginary,
yeah,
only occasionally touching down in the real world,
yeah.
just to launch off again into.
That's the change. Everything has changed. Nothing stands still in Proteus's world when you're wrestling with Proteus. Like there's even bits of Irish in there buried somewhere. There's Tanit of his span. That's Taoiseach,
Right.
which
He
is
also uses the word sláinte.
he's got Sláinte as well. But
Tanis, Taoiseach.
yeah, Tanit, the average Irish speaker wouldn't spot that. It's not italicized. I'd say the average non-Irish speaker just says, "Oh, forget it, hop over it."
Where is that? I can't remember seeing that.
I can't remember where it was.
I did see it.
Pardon?
I did see it.
Yeah,
I remember.
Did you?
He knows he saw it.
Well, yeah.
He didn't
Well, you
remember
have
either.
good reason to remember it.
yeah.
Read it again.
Yeah, okay, Donna. Here, I got an Irish question for you here. I'm at line, I'm at line 339. He's talking about the dogs. His snout lifted, barked at the wave noise. Herds of Seymours. I have that walrus. Do you get walrus in Dublin Bay?
I don't think so.
I didn't think so either.
No, you don't.
Okay, so this is strictly in his imagination.
This was before global warming. Maybe we get them now.
Okay. Well, because he is talking actually, he's going back to the past where they slayed, where they're starving and there's some beached whales, and it was apparently during a famine in 1331. So we went back. Do you get? So this is random. Like, do you get seals in Dublin Bay?
Yeah, I think they're seals, all
You
right.
get seals. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you certainly get them on the West Coast. I saw them in Mayo
Okay.
there this summer.
Right.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The seals in Dublin Bay. We were there. The swimming down at the 40 foot had to be suspended a couple of years ago there was a seal biting people's toes.
Ah!
Ah,
Okay.
That's okay till he bites your toe. It's
yeah.
very-
Otherwise, it's cute.
yeah,
It's cute if it bites somebody else's toe.
Exactly.
that's a poor little thing.
So I'm looking at page 45 in Wordsworth, and I'm going to put a check mark next to little, slightly more than halfway down the Wordsworth page. His gaze brooded on his broad-toed boots.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Could I ask this? And this is again me, and you can shut me down. But We don't actually have that much more to read in this chapter.
Mhm.
Could we go back a bit and start with a side eye at my Hamlet hat? Because there's quite a bit going on that page, and we haven't had a chance to talk to it. So
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I think about a page and a half before where you wanted to start, Duncan. With
Yeah,
that
I see it. I've got it,
Perfect.
and that's
And,
fine.
and that's the top of page 40
correct
Yeah.
in Gabler.
in Gabler.
You know,
Mhm.
Okay, that's where we're starting next week.
if you guys are okay with that, that'd be helpful.
Perfect.
390.
See, and this is an interesting thing. I mean, my tendency is to go to physical facts. So that's why I liked his gaze brooded on his broad-toed boots. And
Right.
here the other one is a side eye at my Hamlet hat.
Yes.
So, you know, good examples of one going concrete and the other going has some concrete stuff in it, but gets abstract very, very quickly.
Yeah. I
Sorry,
mean,
where is that in Wordsworth?
Wordsworth, the Dave's one is on page 44. It's the beginning of the second paragraph. It's almost at the top. A side eye at my Hamlet hat.
Duncan, what you said is so true. Like where we move from the physical to the abstract, and the physical can be very physical. I'm just kind of working through what we read today, and he's talking about the dog, and he says, by the edge of the mole he lolloped, dwaddled, smelt a rock, and then from under a crooked hind leg pissed against it. He trotted forward, and lifting again his hind leg, pissed quick short at an unsmelt rock. Well, you don't get much more physical than that.
Right, and see,
Yeah.
I love probably because I've been an abstract person almost all of my life. That in my old age, I'm more and more attracted to physicalities and ideas based upon physicalities. So that's just me. Anyway, I'm
Mhm.
gonna have to go for now. It's been fun and interesting, and I'm looking
Yep.
forward to next time, and hopefully I'll be in better shape and have a sharper mind next time.
Excellent.
Today. Thanks
Thank
everybody.
you.
See you
Thank
all.
you,
Bye bye.
everybody.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.